People have been selling you products for years without you even noticing. Let's talk about a marketing strategy called evangelism. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, what is this? Like, it sounds like a religious thing, or um, actually, it's a marketing strategy that not a lot of people know about, but when it's really implemented powerfully, you can see crazy product launches. Like this is why everybody today owns a smartphone. Okay, if you remember, like 13 years ago, iPhone, like in like 2007, like this just came out. First iPhone, first smartphone. Nobody owned one. If I remember correctly, I was early in high school, and like yes, some people had cell phones, but mostly like I was a student, and barely anyone had a phone around us. Like the only places where we saw phone was from the adults in school, parents, but even then, like most adults didn't even own a cell phone. Fast forward just 5 years later in like 2012, and like I'd say 90% of the kids in high schools had cell phones. That was a crazy shift. What's really interesting is that when you started, like the first iPhone, okay, if you remember the early ads, you can check them out on YouTube. And even the ads that come out today for phones, like they're never the kind of ads that are like, oh hey, you need this cell phone because it's going to change your life. These are all the features, benefits. This is how it's going to change your life. It's amazing, amazing product. You need it and whatever. It's never salesy. It's always like, oh, here's a phone. It's new. It's beautiful. But like, you never watch these ads and feel like, oh my God, I need this. It's going to change my life. I never felt watching one of these ads as this was a product that really changed. What they're selling basically in their ads is the feeling of being on the cutting edge, the feeling, the prestige of owning the new shit. And the only people basically it's going to appeal to is the type of people who are really interested in the status, like that is brought from owning the new shiny shit. Like same kind of thing as a Lamborghini. It's like a poor man's version of the Lamborghini owning an iPhone in 2007. It's kind of a prestige thing. And what happened is that these people, the first people who bought iPhones, like these guys ended up talking about it, showing off like, hey, this is my Lamborghini, this is my iPhone, look at that, it's beautiful. Touchscreen controls work so well, like it's so convenient, it's small, and like whatever reason you prefer your iPhone over a flip-flop, the apps, whatever. And over time, like what happens is that he's so passionate about his portable Lamborghini that like everybody starts wanting one. And what happens is that after you think about it, like when you bought your first smartphone, what happened? Like probably if you're like 99% of the population, you had a family member or friend show it off to you, and you were just impressed and wanted to have one too. So truthfully, what happens is that the first person who buys the iPhone talks about it to dozens of friends who start having iPhones and start talking about it to their friends too. And basically the customers do the selling for the company. And what happens is that basically if you bought your iPhone after a friend showed you his iPhone or any smartphone for that matter, if you ended up wanting to buy a smartphone after you saw a friend's smartphone or you heard someone you know talk about it, basically that person has sold you on smartphone. And Apple didn't pay any of these people to promote their products, but people still ended up promoting the products through their networks because of the prestige value, the owning your micro Ferrari. That's a mark of wealth, prestige, and being on the cutting edge. And like over time, so what Apple did basically, it just gave the motivation to its customers to become salesmen for it, even though Apple never paid any of these people to promote its product. But still, like, think about it. Like, when was the last time, like, someone was hard selling you on phones? Like, maybe you went to The Source or another business like this. Maybe there was a salesman there like, I don't know, man, you should buy this phone instead. It's better, more features, more costly, but worth it, because he wants to get a better commission. But he hasn't sold you on the idea of getting a phone. He's just sold you on the idea of getting a better phone. But the idea of turning from someone who basically owns a flip-flop or no phone at all to entering this movement of smartphones that Apple started. Like, Apple has not even done like 5% of the selling. It's all of the marketplace that does this. This is evangelism. You turn one person to your religion, he's going to turn more people to your religion, who are going to turn more people into your religion, your movement, and make more people want to be a part of the movement. Okay, so how does one fucking do that? Of course, sounds really good, sounds fucking awesome. I want to learn to do that. Like, imagine if Apple had to pay every one of these people as if they were salesmen. Think about the millions of dollars that would have been spent on their salaries that they didn't have to pay. Basically, their marketing almost happened for free. Like, it's not a simple process, but the reason I'm talking about evangelism for you today is that there's a really fucking cool thing on Udemy, a really fucking cool course. You know how Apple basically did that crazy evangelism thing? Well, their number one chief evangelist, which is technically another way of saying that he's their number one marketing guy. The guy was named Guy Kawasaki. He basically made a course to teach you how to do evangelisms. Like this is almost a dream come true, because it's like the best guy on evangelism in the world that's teaching you a course for like $15. If that sounds interesting to you and you'd like to learn about it from the master evangelist from Apple, stick with me through the rest of the video. I'm going to tell you if it's really the best place to learn about evangelism or sales and marketing that's out there. So how is it? How is Guy Kawasaki's course on evangelism? First thing I want to mention is that this course, man, it covers like a crazy amount of topics, but that's its biggest problem in my opinion. Yes, you learn how to make people raving fans about your product and want to tell about all the world about it and basically do a part of your marketing for you for free. But most of the course is not about that. You learn a lot of things like how to motivate your team so that they're so sold on the project, so sold on how it's going to change the world that they're going to do their best all the fucking way. And basically it's as in Guy Kawasaki's opinion, this is how you get people to design the best products in the world. It's they believe in it so much that they put all their effort, all their energy in it, and that's why Apple's products are so awesome. That's his opinion. And you learn a lot of tips on how to build a good team, motivate a team, and how to hire the right people. Really interesting stuff if you are an entrepreneur, you want to build a business, you have a business. Of course, it's not going to be as useful if you want to be a solopreneur or freelancer, or you want to get a job, but still, it's there. And through all that, you also learn tons of business tips and general tips that they learned through building Apple and other companies. But overall, the big problem with this course is that it's just 3 hours long, and it covers all these topics. And the problem is that Guy doesn't really dive deep enough into any of these topics. And what I found and what other people seem to agree with when you look at Udemy reviews, that when you get to the end, you heard about a lot of interesting stories and things, but But he didn't spend enough time teaching you any of these parts of your skill set to the point where you're ready to use them effectively. And I think that's a shame because every topic in this course is so interesting, especially if you want to start a business. Like, crazy ideas in here. But at the end of the course, you're just feeling like you kind of didn't learn anything useful, and it was kind of a waste of time, but a waste of time that was being taught by one of the wisest guys in business. Admittedly, though, I do understand. Like, there are a lot of people who are giving this course 5-star ratings. Like, and I do understand where they're coming from. Like, you don't learn anything at that base practical level. What you do learn, though, is that when you hear him talk about business, over time you get to develop a really good idea of his beliefs and how Guy thinks about business. But if you do get into the course, don't expect you're going to learn to become a chief evangelist. Like, unfortunately, this course will not allow you to do that. Like, you can't learn that with a 3-hour course. But if you take your time and you approach it from the mindset that you're not here to learn how to do this, you're from the mindset that you're here to learn how the guy who did this thinks about business and about sales, and you want to understand the thinking that goes behind the scenes when he came up with strategies like this, well, I think you could, well, with that kind of mindset, you'll find that this course is really useful. I can't really recommend it full-heartedly because it does not deliver on its promises. This is a course on evangelism, and it doesn't make you really good at evangelism. But I do recognize that this course has merit, and if you are looking for a course to learn how to think about business, I think there are really worse places you could spend your $15 in that. If that sounds interesting to you, you'll find a link to it in the description. I would not say this course is a must buy, but for entrepreneurs, freelancers, might be worth checking out.